Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Falls from Iron. I'm Gatesy. This is a continuation of our You Are the Manager series. So just to give those of you watching that are wondering what on earth's going on. So basically what we do is we're giving the guest £85 million budget. We are putting the guest in the shoes of David Moyes and saying, okay, if you were David Moyes, you've got 85 million there and spend it on whoever you see is right to bring into the squad, beef up the squad ahead of domestic in next season. Real simple. We're not too worried about the outgoings. It's just a bit of fun. And for the purposes of player valuations, rightly or wrongly, we are using the website Transfer Market. Now, if the £85 million are used up and the guest wants to still beef up the squad, they can dip into free transfers. Pretty simple, really. So, over to the guest. We've brought in Jas The Hammer. How are you, sir?
Yeah, very well, sir. Very well. Yeah, Friday we've reached. A bit more cooler now, isn't it? After the sort of hot weather we've had for a couple of days.
It's been a bit wet.
So it has. But I've really enjoyed doing this exercise, though. It got me thinking about so many things, and so I'm hoping the viewers will enjoy a bit of mix of my thoughts behind what I'm going to do. And yeah, it's been really good. And it's kind of, I don't think any channel's done this. It kind of gets you thinking, and also you can appreciate the manager's job, how hard it is, and kind of. But we got to just say one thing is the values on Transfer Market. Yeah, some of them are probably a little bit different. Yeah, probably a little bit different to what we think. I think in the real world, but
I think there's some players that I've noticed that you look at and you go, if they were being sold tomorrow, they'd be worth an awful lot more. And then there's others that are like, he's never worth as much as that sort of thing, you know. So it's sort of, you know, some you win, some you lose. And as I say, it's purely a bit of fun. I'm not expecting David Moyes to go out and go, well, that's how much it says he is on Transfer Market when he goes into negotiations with clubs like Real Madrid. Well, is he going to buy anyone from Real Madrid? Who knows? But
I mean, imagine the mechanics behind the website, keeping tabs of every single player in the world. I mean, what the hell? How do you do that? You know,
unreal,
you know?
Different world. Tom's in the live chat. How you doing, Tom? And for those of you watching that are interested, Tom is actually our guest on Hammer Time of Our Lives next season, which is season 1996-1997. If anybody is watching this and there's any seasons that you want to participate in, send us a DM. You've got the ticker at the bottom with all of our social media platforms on. We'd love to hear from you. And if there's a season that's upcoming that you want to get your teeth into, unless there's already someone that's already got that season ahead of you, then we'd be delighted to have you on. So, you know, get in touch with us. And anybody that's watching this, do us a massive, massive favor. It really does help. And that is real simple. Just like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already done so, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that as and when Duke and I upload any new content, you will be notified. And Warrior's just jumped in. How you doing, Warrior? Hope your day's going well. Hope the weather your end has been better than it has mine, which has been, well, as they say, nice weather for ducks.
Non-stop, mate.
What do you do?
The garden's happy though. Bit of greenery in there. They love it.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Mind you, we went artificial turf route.
Clever move.
So I got rid of the lawnmower a couple of years back. We got artificial grass. It's lovely.
Interesting.
Looks the part, feels the part, and I don't have to bugger around with the old mower, sort of moving all the crap out of the shed, get the mower out.
You don't want to know how long it takes me. Yeah, it takes time, mate. Yeah, so good move, mate. Good move.
Anyway, Mr. Moyes, you've got 85 million quid burning a hole in your pocket. So you have carte blanche. It's not every day you get given 85 million quid. Let's have it right. By the way, I come and I got myself a glass of rum and coke.
Oh, I like the colour, mate.
My guest today, and he's turned up with scotch.
Cheers, mate.
Good health to you, mate. Good health to you.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
What's your first signing, Mr. Manager?
So with this signing, I obviously very traditional history, as you know, all the programs we do together, and my mind went back to Brian Clough signing Peter Shilton. Start from the back if you're ever going to build. Going back to
Yep.
John Lyall signing Phil Parks. Not sure if you could afford him. And if you remember the story, Gatesy, there was 5 board members and it was 2-2 before Len Kearns was going to do the final vote, and it's 2-2 as Phil
I
Parks
think it was
says.
Reg Pratt, actually.
Oh, sorry, was it Reg Pratt?
Reg Pratt.
He used to wear a little hat, didn't he? I remember now. Yeah, bang on, mate. And Phil or John didn't really think it was going to go through. He's a world record fee, $550, I think. I'm not sure, but a lot of money. And before he went out the door, he said, "Looks like, gentlemen, we have a new goalkeeper," and went out the door. So
I remember
me,
watching that with I think it was Parksy that told the story on was it a production with Canning Town Len on Everybody's Second Team? I think it was on
Phil
Amazon
Parks.
Prime.
That's the one. That's the
brilliant.
one. Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. You know what? And you've seen, instead of sort of buying too many cheap players or just overlooking important positions, just have a bit of a heart. What's the worst going to happen? You might sell him on for a profit if he's that good and you've got the comp. For me, first signing, having thought about it, a lot of people talked about Johnson, and I'm like, no, not for me, not for me. It's going to be Pope, age 29, from Burnley, 30.5 million, straight in, and it takes me back to 1978, 79 when Parksy came, mate. For me, I want to keep it simple. I want to buy players who are kind of in our league at least, so we know that they're tested, they're used to it.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Spain, Italy, and you don't know what's going to happen. And he plays for one of the teams that always struggle, and he shines through. Unfortunately, got an injury, not going to be part of England. For me, he's England's number one, but that's just my personal view. And I just think he looks so commanding, Gates. He's so confident. And some of the shots he saves is from any part of his body. You know, forget the hand. It could be anything. His knees, his stomach. Narrowly. And 29, Gatesy, that's got to be coming to your prime as a goalkeeper, you know? That's got to be like
peak years.
You know?
Absolutely, for a goalkeeper.
And 30.5 million, 6-7 years, mate. No need to worry, Pope. So Pope is the first one, and I like to build from the back. And I know that we've not put that much money into defense recently, and sometimes it's overlooked as fans. But I think you got to start from the back, and goalkeeping is such a crucial position, you know. So Pope is the first one.
Position. Yeah, I think it's for me. And I used to play in goal, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but for me, it is such a specialised position that I believe it's the most important position on the pitch, bar none. Because other positions you can always, you know, like we saw when Lanzini played in defensive mid, you can always move a player, an outfielder around. You could put a left back at left midfield, or vice versa. You could put a right back at centre back, or a centre back at midfield, or a defender at, you know what I mean? You can sort of juggle them around. A goalkeeper is a goalkeeper. You can't sort of shift anyone around really into that position.
My thoughts, Gatesy, is that we finished 6th. We got to start thinking like a top 6 club. Forget about the things we've done in the past. Really good couple of seasons under the manager. We got to buy big. We got to buy quality. We got to buy good experience. We got to buy players going to Europa who are going to come into the changing room and really kind of lift the standards up even more. Because you talk to the Liverpools, United, it's like you got to just up the level every year, really. So that's my thinking about a lot of the signings. I think Pope isn't that much of a risk. I don't believe. Hopefully, he can. You know, the only thing is with Pope, I mean, I'm not sure which part of the country he's from, and sometimes perhaps London.
He's from Cambridgeshire.
I think. Well, that's
he's
not
from
too
Soham.
bad. It's a lovely part of the world. I think it'll be fine. So it's Pope, mate. Pope, concrete signing. Yeah.
So just having a look here for the people at home, and I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go back to full screen so that people that are at home have got a better chance of seeing the nuts and bolts of this. So Transfer Market, again, rightly or wrongly, have valued him at £13.5 million. He's an England international. He's 29 years of age. His contract at Burnley runs until the 30th of June 2023. So basically, it's got another 2 years to run. Just scrolling down here. In the Premier League, he made 32 appearances, conceded 37 goals, and kept 11 clean sheets. And yeah, it says there just some useless information. He's a right footer, Not that that's really too much of a sort of a big deal as far as a goalkeeper is concerned. But just looking at his history, he's played for a club that's quite local to me. He's played for Charlton before he was at Burnley. He's also had spells on loan at Bury, at York City, Aldershot Town, etc., etc. He's travelled around a bit. He's had to sort of work hard to get his chance. I mean, when he was at Charlton, and he went to Burnley in 2016, it says there, for 1.17 million. I think most people outside of Charlton have never heard of Nick Pope. And he had to wait his time because if you remember rightly, he went there and Tom Heaton was the goalkeeper at Burnley. And Tom Heaton, very, very good goalkeeper. But he got his chance with an injury to Heaton and basically has never looked back since.
I think there's an AC Milan young goalkeeper that's being floated around as not having signed a contract yet. And I thought about it.
Gianluigi Donnarumma.
I've just thought I'm just going to go for it. Well pronounced there, Gatesy. Very impressive. but So I just thought Pope is the one. And it's really funny. As I'm doing it, it's half reality because I'm getting excited as though it's happening. It's really weird what happens. Yep. You're buying it.
You've convinced yourself he's coming in.
You're looking at it and you're thinking, I'm really happy now. Oh, these players are coming. It's really weird what happens to you as you do it, like a bit like playing Championship Manager, as we always talk about. So it's really, really interesting.
Just going to say a quick shout out. Hello to Jordan. Nice to see you on here again, guys. He says, and likewise, glad to see you there. Warrior said he's on the white rum. I'm on the Captain Morgan's.
I've got all of them on there. Oh my!
They're
God.
all on it. Yeah,
brilliant.
And he's asking, what is You Are the Manager? Just to give you a sort of recap. Jas is the manager. It's not what he thinks David Moyes is going to do. It's what he would do if he was David Moyes, and we give him 85 million quid. We're not worried about outgoings. He's just purely buying players, spending 85 million quid. He can use free transfers, and we're using transfer market in terms of the valuation of players, rightly or wrongly. It's just a bit of fun. So, yeah. And don't worry, they're all out there, Jordan, so you can go back and watch it at your own leisure. Don't worry about it. So, Jas, signing number one's done. Now, that is £13.5 million of goalkeeper, taking your £85 million budget to £71.5 million. I assume you're not done yet, are you?
No, not done yet. So what I'll probably do is start like from the back to the front and then do it that way. If that's fine with you, Gatesy. If you want me to change it around, I can do that.
No.
If you want me
to,
you
want. Not a problem. You're the guest.
So moving on to the so I'll say back 4/back 5. Again, it's an area that's been very neglected. And so what I looked at was sort of players that are available on a free transfer, and there's quite a lot of interesting names on there. And when a player's on a free transfer, I didn't look at the age too much. I'm very aware that we need to bring our average age down. So as I go through my transfers, you'll find that a lot of them are very young. 29 for goalkeeper against Fabianski and Randolph is, and I did consider. I don't think the people that are coming up in our team and the youth team we don't quite know yet if they can make it or not.
Yeah,
and it's a position I don't want to take any risks with, and Pope can hit the ground running. So definitely. I'm bringing in this person or a couple of these people on the back of we're in Europa now. So these two people I'm going to mention sort of in the coming minutes are people who are world class or have been, played in Europe every single season, regular internationals, big personalities, and they can also kind of be a big personality in the dressing room, can help out in Europa and teach a younger kid something. So the first one's going to be Boateng from Bayern Munich on a 3 at the age of 32. What I was really wary of, Gates, is two things. Look at the age now, and a lot of them actually go up a year in August, September. So he's 32 now, but I am aware he will hit 33 in September, and his contract runs out in June the 30th. So Jerome Boateng, who I think Mourinho at Man United got quite close to sort of being interested in speaking to, really, and you can see the status of the guy, the class. He's a Mercedes S-Class, shall I say. And you imagine a guy like that coming into the West Ham club dressing room. And I know that a lot of people are thinking, are we good enough to sign him? You cannot overlook the fact that players are hungry to play in the Premiership. And we are in the Premiership. We finished 6th. And coming to the age of 32, 33, he wants something different. And you imagine us from London reaching out to him, giving him the wages that he wants because there's no fee to pay. I think there's a good chance he would come. And he's very commanding in the back three, back two. And again, going back to Europa, our squad is like 8-9 players short. Even submitting those sheets to UEFA, it's embarrassing. So there's going to be a good few players I'm going to bring in, and he's one of them to shore up the numbers and bring everything like a commander that he is, really. Yeah.
Do you know what? I think that would be, if it came to pass, and I got to be honest, I think it's probably not going to happen, regrettably, but I think this is a cracking player. And
I think you'd be
32 years of
surprised
age.
when you
Well,
look
you
at
never know.
Bolton,
You never
yeah,
know.
At that age. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
But
doesn't
just
play a lot.
looking at
He's
this,
had a few injuries. I think
Yeah.
we are a big pull. I think he would come.
well, looking at this, 32 years of age, so he's still got a couple of years left in him, I would suggest. Bayern Munich are letting him go on a free transfer. He's rated on transfer market at £9 million. This is a World Cup winner, ladies and gentlemen, and a 2-time Champions League winner. So this is no mug player.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you're not a mug player if you're doing that in your career. And just looking at the stats here in terms of his Bundesliga appearances last season, 29 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. He was in the starting 11 85% of the time and played 78% of the minutes. His position is centre-back, short and sweet. There's no mucking around with this guy. He's not, defensive midfielder and can play here, can play there. He's a centre-back, no ifs, no buts. And just looking further down, a little bit of useless information. He's the half-brother of Kevin Prince Boateng. If you remember him, he used to play for Portsmouth, and I think he was at Tottenham for a spell. He's currently at Monza. And he's also the half-brother. Do you remember the Middlesbrough player? And I think he played for Villa as well, George Boateng.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just looking there, he's been on the books of Bayern Munich, but he has got Premier League experience because once upon a time he was on the books of Manchester City.
Well, very interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. I remember it was a good while ago, in fairness, but I don't think it really happened for him at City. But different time, different place. So
my thinking is that we've lost Balbuena, and I don't have any faith in Dupe, as I famously say, and those are the reasons why I'm bringing in 2 centre backs, and he's the first one to shore up the numbers. And for me, these are sensible signing, Gatesy. Don't give him a 4-year contract. He's going to be 33. Give him good wages. Have him for 2 years with an option for 3. That's the way you look at it. Not stupid like things like that. So, yeah, that's the first one. The second one with a similar thinking. I thought long and hard about this, but as a free transfer.
Before you
go ahead,
dive into that one, just so that everybody knows the running total. So £71 million. So subtracting 9 million quid takes you to 62.5 million.
The only thing with Boateng is, because his contract runs out, are we going to count the money in, or what do you think?
Sorry. No, he was a free, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
His contract runs out June the 30th.
You're back to 71.5.
Oh, I was going to ring the bank manager up.
That's my mistake. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get the staff.
I was panicking, but still acting cool, and I thought, "Oh my god, I'm going to have to rejig something."
No, you're quite correct. That he's a freebie. He is a freebie.
Thank you.
That's bargain. That is a bargain, ladies and gentlemen.
And bargain number 2.
Yeah.
Similar position, but can also help out in the centre mid. And I think this player is Marmite. You either love him or you don't, and I just give him this. And for his age, he's 33, 34, but he doesn't look it. And I think he can bring good things, and he lives in London. It's David Luiz, the famous David Luiz that we love or hate. And I think he can bring a lot of things to the table. I think he's probably popular in the transfer camps. I think he's a leader. I think he can help out in centre mid. He doesn't hide. He's got an odd good free kick in him. And he does go, but it's going back to hopefully we're going to have a lot of games next season with Europa. And that's where Boateng and David Luiz come in. We are not experienced in Europe in our squad. And these players, like I keep saying, on a cold evening in Europe, these players will stand up and help everyone. Even if he's not on the team, on the bench as a youngster, you'll have the confidence saying, "God, we've got to bring in some big names here." So free transfer, Gatesy, another one. I mean, 33, 34, just be sensible. Give him a reasonable contract. He lives in London, perhaps got children who are at school, so he'll come. I think he'll come.
That's a good signing, I think, potentially. And again, free transfer, so you're getting a bit of value for money. He's got Premier League experience, and as you say, he's been at Arsenal, he's been at Chelsea before that twice, so he's used to London life. It's not like he's going to come to a city that's a bit strange. And
yeah,
and
and
a free transfer, so sensible. Sensible sort of reinforcements, I would suggest. I know they're probably going to be, and like you say, he's very much a Marmite figure. There are some people that think he's actually a decent player, and there's some people that think he's a bit of a clown and a bit of a liability. But I think, as certainly in terms of a squad player, I'm not saying stick him in the first team, play him every single minute, but he's certainly a useful squad player. But just looking at this, so his contract runs out on the 30th of June this year. So he's a free transfer. So forget about the 4.5 mil. That's not relevant. 20 appearances in the Premier League last season, 1 goal, 0 assists, 1 yellow card, 1 red card. And his main position is centre-back, but he can, of course, be deployed as a defensive midfielder. So again, this is someone that's got a little bit of versatility about him. He's a Brazilian international with 56 caps. And just looking down here, he's got a hamstring injury presently and his return's unknown, but I'm sure that won't be long. And look at the clubs: Arsenal, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Benfica, etc.
Oh, look at the pedigree. And and Gatesy, he can pass it. Don't forget that. When he's playing at centre defence, when he brings the ball out, he's got a good 20, 30-yard pass on him. And he's very good from set pieces. You imagine him, Dawson, together with Souček. Oh my! Can you imagine? I just thought about that now. I'm like, I would not want to be marking any of those three. I mean, he comes alive in the box, and Jas, well done. I've got to pat myself on the back. Amazing. And the other thing is, my confidence has gone up by reaching out to these players because we're in Europe and we're 6. I can't understate that. That's why perhaps if we weren't, I wouldn't have the sense to say, we're going to buy these players. These are big names, and I think the Europa pool is reasonable. It's up there, and I think we got a good foundation. We got world class players like Rice and names like that. I think it will help. It will help. I think, yeah.
As I say, I think he's very much a polarizing figure. For every person that says he's a decent player, you'll find someone else that will say, no, not for me. And it's all about opinions. But right now, the only opinion that matters is the manager, and that Jas is you.
Jas Moyes. Yeah, that's the one.
Jas Moyes, yeah, exactly. So just get rid of him. So that is another free signing. So you're still on £71.5 million.
I'm not. I don't work in accounting for no reason in finance. I'm a treasurer by corporate trades. I look after the company's millions, so you can tell now. I'm being quite wise about it and trying to get as much as I can from my money.
Have you got any Scottish in you, Jas?
No, I am.
I'm just
no. I'm very generous.
I have. So
no, in real life, if anything, no. You'll see me in a pub, mate. I don't think you're going to get a chance to buy a round when I'm in there. I'm not like that. I'm completely very generous and completely open for that. I'm kind of nuts like that. Yeah, we kind of have fights over. No. But no, very good.
Put your wallet away.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
So who's next on your list, Mr. Moyes?
I'm very excited by this next one.
Yep.
And the reason with him, I've kind of said no to Kral, who we're looking at the moment. So
yep.
The reasoning behind that was Kral is, I can see he's a very good player, would be a good signing. But this player comes with a big reputation going back 2-3 years. I remember Stell from Lions United absolutely loving the guts out of this guy.
Yep.
And he's a utility player with, the more I looked into him, Gatesy, the more I got impressed. So he's a centre mid, but originally he's a right back. And when you look at his body, he's all arms and legs. He's very young. He's strong. He can perhaps, Arsenal are very close to talking to him at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's Senderberg from Sheffield United at the age of 23. I think he's going to be a big name in the future. And I'm really excited that I managed to get him and keep it within the budget. 16.2 million. I think this kid has got everything going for him in terms of, centre mid. You know, he works hard. He just plays the game simple. He keeps it. He's got a goal in him. He's got a shot in him. But again, he can play right back. And I think with his body stature, I'm sure if you play three at the back, he can play on the right side at the back three. But I need to look into that. But he's a right back by trade who's become a centre mid defence. And I know Crowell can do that as well. But I wanted to push the boat because I think he's a really classy player. And 23. So again, I did talk about Boateng, Luis, but then this is the other side of it. Most of my players are going to be fairly young, so 23 brings him down, and is something David Moyes can improve on. And I think he's a solid player, mate. Gatesy, I'd love to hear your views on him.
No, there was a chance that we could have signed him a year or two back, wasn't there? And obviously, for whatever reason, he went to Sheffield United.
No, we didn't have the money. He cost a lot of money, Gatesy. He wasn't cheap.
Yeah,
he was a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money.
Well, I think it was a choice between, wasn't it? That was when it was a choice between either him or Thomas Souček. And in the end, we went Thomas Souček. And you probably turn around and say, with the benefit of hindsight, that was actually probably the right move for all parties in a strange sort of way, because we obviously got a guy that scored vital goals to keep us up last season. Sander Berge came in and he obviously did a job for them for that season. Obviously, this season it's gone a little bit pear-shaped, but
don't forget.
I don't think that's a reflection on him necessarily.
No, but don't forget, I'm bringing in someone as a backup, so the squad is getting unbelievably high in quality. Imagine a player like that. You paid what? 60, 70 million, and he's not going to be starting at the beginning. He's going to have to watch Wright and Souček, and perhaps if there's an urgent need at the back. So these are the levels I want the club to get to. Think like a big club, top six. So, you know, big clubs buy players 25 million. They sit on the bench. We got to think like that. You know, we got to. Yeah. It's a long season. Europe again.
Thinking.
Let's rotate. And when you're bringing in players on the bench, they are quality. You know, not like a goalkeeper or two youth players. You don't know who they are. Yeah. So that's my thinking about a lot of these signings. Push the boat. We've got a good first 11. We all know that. But with that extra money now that we haven't really spent, let's go for the same quality again that's on the bench. Yep. And it will kind of get the first 11 thinking, shit, if I don't have an average game, God, I got people like Boateng, David Luiz and Sandenberg on the bench. You just raise the standards and kind of excite the players again and keep them for another long season. Yeah.
So again, just looking down here for the ladies and gentlemen at home. So his contract at Sheffield United runs until the 30th of June 2024. So he's got another 3 years. He's rated on Transfer Market as £16.2 million. He's a 23-year-old Norwegian. He played 15 Premier League matches, scoring 1 goal and 1 assist last season with 4 yellow cards. His default position is defensive mid. He can also be deployed as an orthodox central midfielder. And just looking here, he's played for the Norwegian national team 24 times, 1 goal. And he came to Sheffield United from the Belgian club Genk. And from there, he then was also before that at Vålerenga in his native Norway. So, yeah, again, a player with a bit of versatility about him. And he's young, so he's got scope to improve. A player that we could get a good deal of service out of, and maybe in a couple of years, all depending on the situation, if we did move him on, it's not unrealistic to suggest we might even make a few quid on him.
We could,
rather than losing money for a change.
And also the thinking is we've got to be realistic in this world. So if Souček or Rice, any of them move, I think he's got it in him to step up. So he won't have to panic as much, really. And he's one of those players that's been overlooked in terms of people knowing about him, because Sheffield United has been injured for a reasonable period as well. And when he plays for Sheffield United, you're not going to get noticed in a team like that. But I know he's got big reputation, Gatesy, going back way before Sheffield United. And I think this is a smart move. I think we'll definitely get our money back. And if he has that golden period like Souček has, it could go anywhere, the value with this kid. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I've been given a request from Fresh Fielder. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. He wants a recap on selection. So what you've missed so far, Fresh, and you need to set your watch. Make sure you hit the bell icon. Got to get that in. Got to get that in. So far, Jas Moyes has gone for Nick Pope for 13.5 million. He's got 2 freebies so far in Jerome Boateng and David Luiz. And he's just brought in Sander Berge from Sheffield United for 16.2 million. Now, with that 16.2 million coming off of the 71.5 you've had left at that point, you're now down to 55.3 million. Ooh.
Still enough for a round in Dukes' pub. We could just about get around in, I think, for that much.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we can. Just about. Just if we don't get the peanuts, yeah, we can.
Or the pork scratchings.
Oh, naughty but nice. Oh, that's another Marmite pork scratching. A lot of people are like, oh my god, I don't know what's in it. Oh my god,
you probably don't want to. It's a bit like a kebab, isn't it? You don't want to know what's in a kebab, really.
Kebab, I'm a big fan of kebab, but pork scratches, I'll probably leave it. I'll leave it. I think I'll leave. Be sensible. Go for the scampi fries. I like scampi fries.
I'll let you off, Fresh.
Just wash your hands twice afterwards. There we go.
Love it. Love it. So, Mr. Manager, you've got 55.3 million left, burning a hole in your pocket. You've brought 4 players through the door. 2 of them are freebies. Who's next?
You know, the next 2 are going to be freebies as well. So I'm spending a lot of money in the defense. And the first one is a player who I looked at 2-3 years ago. Is Van Aanholt, the Dutch left back from Crystal Palace, whose contract's coming to an end again, June the 30th. He can take penalties. He's got a reasonable amount of caps for the Holland. I just like this guy, and I think, with all respect to Crystal Palace, when West Ham come calling, yeah, he'll be fine, mate, for a challenge. You know, he'll be fine. I don't think Gatesy, we've had, looking at the history we do for West Ham, I don't think we've had that many Dutch players, have we? I don't think so. I don't think so. The odd one, Durambora, maybe. Is he Dutch? We talked about him yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
One, not too many. I know Tottenham have had loads, like Davids and the other midfielder they used to have. They've had loads, but for us, Van Aanholt, I think he's 30, which is not a bad age. He'll be 31 in August, so I'll take that because we do need the left back position kind of looked at. And don't forget, I regard Sandenberg as a right back cover, so that's why you'll find out I'm not bringing any other right back in. I do believe that he can kind of help out there. So kind of Van Aanholt left back really cover for Creswell, I think. Yeah, I think it'd be good like that.
Yeah,
another good solid professional. The Dutch are very good professionals, as we know.
Yeah. Just looking at this, ladies and gentlemen. So his Palace contract runs out on the 30th of June. So again, it says 6.3, but he's a freebie. 30 years of age. He's a left fullback by default. He played 22 times for Palace in the Premier League last season. And he scored 0 goals. But again, that's not really his job, in fairness to him. Got 1 assist, 2 yellow cards. And just scrolling down here, his one and only position is left back. He doesn't have any other strings to his bow, according to this. He has 14 caps for his native Netherlands national team. He, and just looking here, his previous history, he's been on the books at Sunderland, Chelsea, and Vitesse Arnhem, amongst others. Wigan as well, believe it or not. Leicester, I noticed as well.
I think he can. Yeah, I think he can play wing back. He's quite rapid and lively. He's very lively.
He probably could.
Yeah, he's good like that.
He probably could.
And I am looking at penalty. I think that's a weak. We got to find people that can take penalties. So he's one of them. He can take penalties. He's very good. He scored at OS, I think, for Palace when I was there. Last minute penalty, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that Fresh thinks that it's a bit of a questionable signing. Patrick Van Sicknote, he's called him.
Yeah. But these are squad players, not expected to go into but they are players that you use sparingly, you know, for the Europa, keeps mentioning it, you know, we still want to win the trophy, Gatesy, so when we get to the League Cup, if we don't have these
possibly
players,
out resting the sort of like the first team players, isn't it? You know, it's not necessarily about them coming in and playing themselves for 90 minutes for 38 Premier League games. It's maybe for them in games where we're sort of 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, bringing a player off and saying, okay, you've done your job, just rest your legs, sort of thing.
I think it's more about League Cup third round. You're away to Chesterfield, and you got people like Boateng, Luis, Van Aanholt to pick from. It's more about starting them and just give Rice and those just completely did the whole day off. Just give them the whole day off. Don't worry about coming and come. This is what we've got to think about. You know, just bring these players in and trust them to just do the whole 90 minutes and just give half the team off that are going to play in the league. And if you do well in the cup, then so really kind of setting standards for the club going forward, really, by bringing these people in. And again, with these freebies, the age they're at, give them a 3-year, 2-year with a third option. They'll come running, mate. You know, they'll come running.
Yep, fair enough, mate. So, Patty is through the door. Mr. Moyes, you still have, because that was a free, you've still got another 55.3 million.
Well,
you're going to spend some more of it? Or
what I've been doing is I've been sort of having a really good relationship with Sullivan. So a lot of them are free. He's so happy. He's like, oh, Jas, that's great. Let me just find a checkbook. No
I'll bet
problem.
he is.
Before I give him the bad news. So one more good news for him is that it's Ryan Bertrand, who's a year older than Van Aanholt, but he's a very solid. You might not notice him too much, but he's a London lad, I think, started off at Chelsea, and he's about 6, 7. I think he's about 7 out of 10 player every game, and contract ends in So Bertrand is another left back. I think we really need our squad to be boosted, Gatesy, like I keep saying. So hopefully the viewers are not getting shocked by are we creating another team? No, it's just a case of we seriously are 7, 8 short at the moment of the minimum number that we need. So that it's all about filling the gaps in, and these players coming through the door are really seasoned professionals. You know, no shocks about him. I think he's 31, which is not bad. And again, I think Crezy's not reliable, Gatesy, in terms of injury. We do need. I mean, we call Van Aanholt injury, but look, what do other fans think of Crezy? He breaks down quite frequently. You know, every time he gets a little touch, we don't know if he's going to get up again. And bit like Antonio, which I'll go into later on. So it's all about boosting the areas that we need to. You know.
Yeah, no, that's fair play. So just looking again, a £9 million rated on transfer market, but for the purposes of this, he will be a free transfer for Jas Moyes because his contract at Southampton runs out on the 30th of June this year. He's a Londoner, so he's one of us. Well, maybe not from our side of the town, but he's a Londoner. So again, living in London is not going to be a shock to him. And just looking at his stats from the Premier League last season, 29 Premier League appearances, 0 goals, 1 assist. Even in the starting 11, 76% of the time, playing 76% of the minutes. His default position is left back. He can also be deployed as a left midfield. He has 19 caps for England. He had 4 caps for the Great Britain Olympic team. I don't know if you remember that in 2012.
I don't really watch Olympic football. Like, it's a bit like tennis. It shouldn't really be in the Olympic Games. I'm a very traditional person. I like field.
Well, we don't often play. Obviously, one in 2012.
Yeah.
They're just looking down here. So Southampton, Chelsea. He also had spell on loan at Villa, at Nottingham Forest, etc., etc. And let's not forget, this is a guy that has won a Champions League, an FA Cup, a Europa League. In his career, so he knows how to get. He knows what it takes to be part of a team that has a winning mentality. So. Which is quite invaluable, I would suggest. So again, another freebie. I mean, Mr. Sullivan must be loving you.
He's like, Jas, when do you want to come round? You know, I can get some nice curry in for you, bit of rum. You know, like the high level rum that you want from Cuba or anywhere like that. Come round anytime, mate. Yeah, wow.
Big cigar.
Excellent. Even the wife's looking at me, Mrs. Sullivan, like, no, I'm married, sorry, bloody hell.
Brilliant. You just sort of like wave that at her. Force field.
She's like, Jas, he gets tired, at his age. Like, how you doing? You all right? Do you want a biscuit or anything?
Oh dear, dear, oh dear.
Right, now we're going on to a really controversial, interesting, important points. I'm going to have to lay out my case now. Gatesy, shall I go ahead?
Crack on, my friend.
Crack on. So, I'm not going to buy Lingard.
Now, I think you're the first one so far that's been brave enough to do this. I think there's been a few people that have been Lingard, Pereira, and they've all gone Lingard because he's already, he's sort of like he's bonded with the squad, whereas Pereira might not sort of. But explain your reasoning, mate.
What is Gatesy? 85 million is a really good amount for a lot of teams. But for us, it's still challenging because due to what's happened in the past and due to the squad being so small, we need to make as much players through the door as we can with that amount. And Lingard is 28. He's valued at 19.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I did it was, which I want to mention two players together. He's 19.8 million. I'm bringing in for 20.7 million, which is 900 grand. I'm bringing in. So at the moment, people are saying, what, Jas, what are you doing? What are you doing? So if I said, out goes Lingard, and for 900 grand extra, we get Gilmour and Pereira, I think people might say, wow. Like if I start with Gilmour at 9 million, age 19, Scotland future captain.
Let's just get him up on the screen. Hang on.
And we talk about Sandenberg providing.
You're going Gilmour first, yeah?
Yeah, Gilmour first. Again, providing so much good extra cover, and 9 million at that age, you're definitely gonna make your money back. And I've been so impressed with him, Gatesy, when I've seen him. They don't even let him go on loan because they love him so much, but they bloody don't play him either. And when you're up against Kante and Jorginho and people like that, and I think this kid's got a bright future. He's so bright, not scared of anything, very lively, bit like Rice, and him and Rice together in a couple of years. And I think this kid at 9 million I couldn't say, when I saw the price at 9 million, I thought, wow, he's coming in. And when you see the thought process at age of 19, bringing the age of the squad down at the same time and bringing in two players, second one we'll talk about in a minute, for literally the same money as Lingard. I'm very wary that Lingard's 28, 29. I'm very wary of that. And also the form's really good. I know since Antonio came to the team, we've been a bit worried. And I know he's a really, really nice kid, Lingard. Even when England said you're not part of the squad, he didn't sulk like Carragher did. I'm not going to play for you again. He put his head down. He's willing to play that game the following. If you remember, if I was Lingard, and I wouldn't have played. I don't think I would have played knowing me. I would have said, "Thank you."
Would have been quite difficult for him, I'm sure.
And he's such a non-troublemaker. It's hard, but the main reason is that I thought I've got a better solution to get more out of the money I've got. It's nothing personal with Lingard. It's more about that I think our squad's in dire straits. I think what we achieved is nothing short of a miracle, and the reasoning behind that is someone gave me Gilmour, and who we can talk about next. I'm going to go for it, mate. I'm going to go for numbers and good quality people, and don't have to worry about it. And if I'm David Moyes, if I bought after you see my squad, I can light a big Cuban cigar and I can relax. So even if someone unfortunately gets injured, I don't want that. But you look at my bench, and if Creswell gets a pull, what do we do when we see Creswell? Oh no. But then when I see on the bench like this Van Aanholt or Bertrand or people like Sanderberg, I'm like, I wouldn't be that worried, mate. I wouldn't be that worried then. I know we're in good hands with the person coming on. So it's Gilmour. What do you think about Gilmour then? I think you like him as well.
I think he's a quality player. I think he's an absolute quality player. The potential's all there. I mean, look at this, right? He's got 2 years left on his contract as of the 30th of June. And he's 19 years of age. So we're nowhere near his peak. Every time I've seen him, though, he's looked he just keeps possession ticking over. He very, very rarely gives the ball away. 9 million quid is his rating on Transfer Market. So just scrolling down here, only made 5 appearances in the Premier League last season. And for me, that isn't enough. It's not because of the quality that he's got. I mean, he's got quality in abundance, and we know that Chelsea do rate him. But you look at that midfield that they've got. It's like, my goodness, how's he going to break through? So,
yeah, with David being Scottish, I'm sure he's aware of him.
Yeah,
but we must
definitely.
be. Yeah, I mean, 9 is a little bit less than in the real world, but then we'll see
massively.
Yeah.
But his main position's the central midfielder, but he can also be deployed a little bit further forwards or a little bit further back, defensive and attack. So, he again, another player with a little bit of versatility. He's came to Chelsea from Rangers, and he has one Scotland cap to his name, as well as obviously various caps for the youth levels at under 21s, 19s, 17s, etc.
Yeah,
so
they got McTominay,
again, this is a guy that with a lot of potential, and for £9 million, again, I know this is not going to be what he goes for with 2 years left on his contract, but I think that is a very it's a move that you're looking to the future with, for sure. There's a lot of potential there.
Another thing, Gatesy, which I got to admit, I love your channel, but I only watch one of these because I didn't want to copy anyone. So I don't know what anyone else has done. So after this, I'm going to watch all of them. So there's a purpose to that. And the only reason I watched the last one was because obviously I was asking a few questions about the rules, and you rightly said, Jas, just watch one of them, then you know how it flows. So I've only seen one of these before today. So I don't know who's got my players, who hasn't. So there's a reason for that. I want it to be original, and I like to always be a bit different. The backing with David Moyes, people, I kind of back my judgment, and it just stops me from wondering. So I like to do things like separately, original. So that's one of the other reasons, I think. So from tomorrow, I recommend all the viewers to watch all of them, and it'll be so interesting and what people's thoughts are, and people are kind of brave enough to come on the channel and explain what they're doing. So that was another thing, Gatesy, that I haven't seen any ones for that reason. I didn't want to copy anyone or
fair enough.
Yeah.
And just to to answer fresh, because he asked the question, what's 1.7 in pounds and ounces? In old money, 1.7 meters, it's around about 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, he's talking about weights and length and
no, 1.7 meters. So he's talking about in old money.
But he says ounces.
No, I know, but he's talking about what is it in old school measurements?
Well, ounces of weight, and what was he saying? One is a length, isn't it? Anyway. You're the only one that can understand him. God bless him. I love him. I ain't got a clue.
Anyway.
Right. So part 2.
Jas, so that's £9 million. So you've got 46.3 million.
So, like I said, the argument was, before people started going nuts, was Pereira's the second part of the gift package, where so Gilmour and Pereira are coming in for Lingard, and for me, I think it's about numbers. Pereira, I thought Longan, it's about the age. He's 25. He's 11.7 million. I've got Gilmour as an extra bonus as part of that package. If I just bought Lingard, he can play on the right wing, and I think he's capable up front. He scored a goal when he played us. He's been rising and rising. He's kind of Brazilian by nationality. He's played for Sporting Lisbon, who I keep saying that one of my best sort of friends. I work with them. He's from Sporting, and he always lets me know sort of. And he told me, "Go Jas, I'm surprised how well he's done." And I can't keep my eyes off him. I'm like, when I look at the assists, the goals, playing. You got to keep remembering, playing for West Brom is hard, especially with Big Sam, who's so negative, And this guy always shines through. And you can get me wrong, Gates. Can he take? I think he can take penalties, can't he? I'm guessing here. I think he can.
I'm not entirely sure. I've got to be honest.
I'm not sure. Yeah. 25, Gilmour 19. That offsets the Sandenberg 23, 19, 25, offsetting the Boateng, David Luiz, Van Alt, Bertrand. So we're still getting the average below kind of 27, 26. So I think Pereira, it's just my gut instinct that I'd bring him on board, and nothing against Lingard or anything like that. I just it's not more about reasons. It's just like, I think the end of the season for Lingard has come down a notch, really. But certainly points per game, which I look at on my stats, he's up there. But Pereira, I think, there's not much between them. It just made sense for me, Gatesy, to bring someone like Gilmore in for the same money, bringing two in for one, like a bit like Harry, like you called me Harry earlier. You're bang on, mate. I just thought for West, we're not. Yeah, we haven't got abundance of money. I just thought just trying to get the most value I can get from this budget.
Yeah,
trying to squeeze every penny out of it, as you can see. And I thought it made sense to bring Gilmore and Pereira. If anything, Pereira, I feel, is undervalued by the transfer market folks compared to Lingard.
I would agree. He's not going for 11.7 million, I don't think.
But I'll take full advantage, like I do.
Yeah, absolutely. So just looking here, so he's a Brazilian citizen. He's at West Brom presently, obviously just been relegated down to the Championship. Contract there runs until the 30th of June 2024, and his transfer market valuation is £11.7 million. In the Premier League last season, he played 33 appearances, 11 goals, 6 assists. Now, that is quite incredible in a team.
That's what I was telling you.
Putting it very politely, was not very good. Starting 11, 79% of the time, plays 76% of the minutes. His main position is a right winger. He can also be deployed on the opposite flank on the left, and he can be deployed as an attacking midfielder. And just looking down there, he's also got Portuguese citizenship as well. He came to West Brom, that is, from Sporting Lisbon, as you said earlier there, Jas. He's also had a period in Germany, I noticed there, at Nuremberg.
Sporting Lisbon's got one of the best youth systems going, a bit like Southampton.
Oh, yeah.
You run Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes and Pereira. There's loads of players, mate, from there. I mean, they used to have Slimani, not from the youth team, but William Cavalier. We were looking at people like that. So Portugal producing lots of good players.
Yeah. Although they did also produce at Sporting, they did also produce a certain Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Paulo Futre, he was from there originally. Paulo Futre,
I think he was. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Very controversial.
I remember seeing his first start. Was it his first start or no? It was his. He came on as a sub against Coventry. I remember
the Southampton game, 3-2 ding dong. Yeah, his knee was gone. He was he made a lot of money. And if you remember the story, he wanted John Moncur's number 10, didn't he? And Johnny's like, no.
And he got it.
And then because he said you could stay at my villa. Like I can imagine the villa he's got like something like that.
He walked out on the team, didn't he, at Highbury? he got given. I think he was given the number 16 shirt or something, and he was like, "No, Paulo Futre, sort of like, number 10, or I go."
Because we talk about sticker albums, his name in '86, I think he was around in '86. Paulo Futre, I can remember his sticker. I could be wrong.
He played in the European Championships in '84 when. I'm sure he played in the semi-final when France won it, and they played France in the semi-final. It was a 3-2. It was a ding dong.
I'm just trying to think. '86. Weren't we in Portugal's group? I remember Poland was in the group. Wasn't Portugal in the same bloody group? I can't remember now. But my first sticker, again wandering off, my first ever sticker, Panini 1986, Enzo Francescoli, Uruguay. My first ever sticker. But I didn't know who he was then. And obviously we know now that he's a big star for them. Yeah. Enzo.
I mean, Tom's made the point there. He was third in Ballon d'Or. Did he? Yeah. Do you know what? I did think you were separated at birth.
Yeah. Enzo, good lad he is. But I look at a lot of people. There you go. Some bit funny, but there you go. But there you go. Yeah.
So that's taken your budget with that outlay on Pereira to 34.6 million quid. Oh, you're getting closer to the breadline, Mr. Manager. You need to be careful here.
I think what I've done is try to bring in different players and then try to provide competition for the existing ones.
Yeah.
So for my next few transfers, it's going to be kind of in the same area, and it might be shocking to some people, but it goes back to my thinking. I do not want Antonio up front next season. I don't. And that's raising the bar again, Gates. He's raising the bar
absolutely.
again. I want him to compete for the 4-2-3-1. Looks like it works really good for us, yeah. And I think those three behind, especially because Lingard, I'm not bringing Lingard in, so that puts a bit of pressure on Ben Rama now. So all those Ben Rama fans, he's got to do it now. So if Lingard's not here, so it's going to be out Pereira, Antonio, Bowen, Fornells. So look at those good 3, 4, 5 that can fit into. That's what I want. Competition. 5 doesn't fit into 3, so I want coming out of you lot. Who's going to be there? But for that one up front, these couple of signings are going to give us an option of 2 up front, because I believe we got like I have a go at Pep a lot for tinkering and that. We've never done that. So after these players that I mentioned, we're going to be able to play in any formation and actually choose a completely different team according to the fixture and the tournament, which is what I want. You're playing Chesterfield on a cold evening. David, you haven't played in the league. This is what I want. Yeah. So that's up to now. So these players coming up now are all going to play in the same position, and a lot of people might be surprised saying how many I'm bringing in for the same position. But it's all to do with that. If I say to Antonio, not playing up front for this position up front, striker, we don't have any strikers under Jas Moyes before I mention the players coming in now. So you've got to bear with me. The first one is going to be Daka from RB Leipzig from Austria. So he's the first one coming in, and he's oh my god, he's cost me his most expensive player coming in. And the reason he's coming in, because I looked at Sturridge, I looked at people like actually you'll talk about the other one later on, but Sturridge was a free transfer as well, but I just felt that more than not we're going to play one up front. I need to get someone in who's strong enough like Antonio or as close to him, and looks like he's confident to play that role on his own. And I thought Daka's explosive, he's pacey, he's good finish on him. And the only drawback is, yes, the league is Austrian. You got to think about that. But Liverpool are sniffing, and for me, that's a good sign. If Klopp's being linked to a player, and he signed players like Mane in the past and Salah, and it's all about pace of the modern game, Gatesy. And I think at that age, what is he, 22? He takes penalties. He definitely takes penalties. I made a note of that. He's strong. I think he's from Zambia. I can't remember now. One of the
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So striker, out and out, and you can stick him on the wing if you're desperate. But I don't want to bring him in for that. I want him to be Antonio's, not like for like, but like a younger version. Someone again he can learn from Antonio, and I think he's got much better finish than Antonio. Some of the finishes I'm seeing, he's not hiding. He's there. He's pacey. He wants to be in your face. He's all action, and it is a risk, but this is the slightly one of the risky ones for me. Putting 98 million of David Sullivan's hard-earned cash in his piggy bank. He might give me the odd IO. I might need to convince him, but you just got to risk it sometimes. I think this is a risk, and I'm going to go for it. I think, yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, you make your point about the Austrian Bundesliga is not necessarily, it isn't in no way, shape, or form comparable with the Premier League. However, I would suggest that the last striking talent that came out of the Austrian Bundesliga and moved on to a stronger league didn't do too bad for himself when he went to Borussia Dortmund and went on a hot streak of goal scoring in Haaland. So why not this kid?
Arnie's Austrian, isn't he? Arnie's Austrian, but I don't know if he played there,
Yeah, but just looking for the ladies and gentlemen at home. So Patson Daka currently at RB Salzburg in the Austrian Bundesliga. His contract there runs until the 30th of June 2024. He's a Zambian national. £19.8 million is his rating on Transfer Market. 22 years of age. And just looking here at his stats in the Austrian Bundesliga, 28 appearances, 27 goals and 7 assists. He has more in goal involvements than he does in appearances. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care what league you're playing in. That is insane. And look there, his main position is a centre forward, and he, as you say, Jazz, he can be deployed on either wing, not a problem at all. And he has 22 caps for his nation with 7 goals. And he went to Red Bull Salzburg from a club in his native Zambia, Kafu Celtic FC.
Brilliant. And I think the reason for me is kind of an Antonio replacement for that explosive power, confidence, and good stamina that I think a lot of these African players have. They're strong lads, they are, a lot of them. And I think we could get good out of him, I think. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the next 3 players I'm going to mention is all about diversity. For every situation, it's a different player. So Daka is an Antonio replacement.
Just before you go,
ahead.
Just so that everybody knows the running total, the budget now left in your back pocket is £14.8 million.
Absolutely bang on. That's absolutely right, according to my calculator. And I'm actually not even going to spend all of it. Just a bit of a hint about what's to come. Really being on the good side of Sullivan so far. Really like keeping tabs with him. And he's like, all right, mate, how's it going? Really, really good. So Daka is my leader, like if I need him. And for that amount of money, I've got to start him. I've got to start him from day one. I've got to give it to him. And I'll put Antonio on the bench, and I would kind of switch it a bit like that. Actually, if Antonio's fit, I might start with Antonio, but with the feeling that if you ever slack even an inch, or you see that Daka there, that's the way I would do it. Yeah, I think it'd be unfair not to start Antonio the following season. That'd be a little bit naughty of me. I'll definitely do, but being a cocky git I am, I'll know that Antonio ain't going to last like more than 3-4 games in a row. That's a bit naughty, but that's what I'm thinking. And then I'm like, Daka, Daka, don't worry about it. He's a good lad, but you'll be in there, mate, 22. This next player, so I want to bring my another free transfer into the equation before I go into someone I've paid the money for.
Go for it.
I thought long and hard about it, but again, going back to Europa and having a traditional, old-fashioned target man, because I know David likes a good target man. So this particular target man, very experienced in the league, has played in the country. He might not be as mobile as Antonio. Well, I don't think Antonio's that mobile, to be fair, but as Dako, not as kind of explosive as him. But he's certainly someone who can hold the ball up, strong enough to hold even 3 centre backs, and bring the free into, pick up the ball, and it'll be Costa. That free transfer, 33 in October, I must mention, be honest, and it's going to be Costa, And you look at the size of that neck, Gatesy. I've never seen a guy with a neck like that. Is wow.
He's a beast.
What are you made out of, son? And he's certainly someone that you can play off, put it that way. If you've got Pereira, you got all the Ben Rama and Bowen and people like that, he can certainly hold the ball up and they'll join him, with confidence and he's not one of those, Antonio, that you'll find him stuck on the wing or he's eating an ice cream on the halfway line. I always sort of have a go at Antonio. He'll be there where you need him to be, and he's not scared of central. I think he's one of those, again, like Antonio. If the opposition saw his name on the team sheet, I think centre backs are going to say, "I'm not really up for it, boss. I got a bit of a cold. Do you mind if I just pass the buck?" Yeah, disciplinary will be an issue, but because of the age, I don't expect him to run around. I don't want him to run around. I want him to be there in the box as a central point.
He'd be a useful player to bring on, wouldn't he, in the last sort of 20 minutes or so, if you're sort of like locked at 1-1 or you're 0-1 down, and it's a bit of a war of attrition. He'd be a brilliant substitute to come on, provided he's the Diego Costa that we remember from Chelsea days.
Well, I will tell him that your age, I want you to just be there. Don't run, just be there, and then the 3 behind you will play off you. That's what I want him to do. Drag 2 central defenders slightly to that area, the penalty area. I don't want you defending. I don't want you running. I just want you there with your reputation, how strong you are, and then the rest we'll see what we are. So, yeah, that's the reason for him. I couldn't say no to a guy with a big name like that, mate.
He's one of those players, isn't he, Jazz? He's a player that you love to hate when he's an opposition player. You know, like a Craig Bellamy. I don't know if you remember sort of like Craig Bellamy when he turned up playing for Blackburn, when he turned up playing for Newcastle, Coventry, Norwich, all the other teams he played for. We hated his guts. When he came to West Ham and we saw him working for the team, we loved him. We loved him. He's one of those players. When he's against you, you hate him. You absolutely hate him. But if he gets in a claret and blue shirt, you're behind him all the way. And I think he'd be a similar type of player. So just looking here, so his last club was Atletico Madrid. He was released from there on January the 1st this year. He was born in Brazil, but he's a Spanish citizen. Transfer market rate him at 5.4 mil, but again, he's a free transfer, ladies and gentlemen. He played 7 games in La Liga before his release and got 2 goals. And his main and indeed only position is centre forward. He has 24 caps for the Spanish national team with 10 goals. He also, a bit like Declan Rice, has 2 caps for Brazil, but obviously they weren't in competitive fixtures, so that was why he made the switch. And he's a guy, he's been round. We know him from his days at Chelsea. Obviously, he had a couple of spells at Atletico Madrid, Rayo Vallecano on loan, Albacete on loan, etc., etc. So he's done the rounds, and at 34 years of age, I think he is. 32 actually. I'm doing him a disservice. At 32 years of age,
33 in October.
Yeah, so he could come in, be an impact sub, as I say, for games that are a bit of a war of attrition, and you need to sort of have guys in the, that are willing to go into the trenches, go to war with you. If we can get and one thing physically, is he the same player? Maybe not. Time would tell if you brought him in. But the one thing I don't think he would have lost is his hunger and his desire and his will to win.
It's all about those Chesterfield. I keep telling you, League Cup Chesterfield at home for those kind of games. Europa early stages with his European experience, the command, the guy around the training ground, and again, don't forget, I'm not including Antonio in that squad next season as striker. So we got no one. So this is the second striker I'm bringing in, and there's a reason for it, because I don't think there's anyone in there, and I'm going to bring in 1 or 2 more, because I think we really need to bump up the numbers, and there's no harm in bringing Costa in. No harm with that.
Well, you're still on your 14.8 million. So are you going to get another freebie, or are you going to splash the cash one last time?
I'm going to splash the cash one last time. And again, it's about scenario. This player coming in is that Tony Cottee type, the goal hanger, the finisher, but he's not a target man. He cannot play by himself up front. So again, it's about Gatesy thinking it's a big club. Like, if we need to play 2 up front, he's going to come on. If we need a goal in the last 20 minutes, there's not many people what I've seen better than this guy. And he's coming to the end of his contract, not like June, but another year or whatever left. And I think there's we cannot afford him to go to another club. And I like that. There's not many. He's like a Danny Ings, a younger version of a Danny Ings, young guy. I've seen his stats going back to the time 16, 17, and the money is okay. He's 24. He takes penalties again. He takes penalties again. And I think is one of those, again, scenarios. A manager would love to, we're playing this team now, and I can play a goal hanger, Ings, I can play Costa if I think the team are a bit big. I can play Daka if there's more explosive pace involved. It's Armstrong, my friend. Armstrong at 14.4 million at the age of 24.
There he is. So tell me a little bit about him. Sell him to me, Mr. Manager. Why should I be excited to see him in claret and blue?
I don't think there's many players I like. He's an old-fashioned player like Tony Cottee. He's a goal hanger. He's not big. He will not hold it up. He plays well in 2. He's a great finisher, which I think is the biggest thing about him. And we know, sometimes in the Premier League, you don't get that many chances. We've seen Antonio. He certainly scores, but it takes him 4 open misses to get the 1 goal. And then we think, we can't have a go, Antonio, because he scored. But we mustn't forget that we create so many chances. He'll be amazing. And he gives us that different option. There's some games you want to play 2 up front. And there's some games you want to bring someone on, and if we're not scoring, and we're missing hatfuls of goals, and we look at the bench of this guy sitting there, oh my God, 20 minutes to go. There's not many people, and defenders are tiring. He comes alive in the box, Gatesy, like the old strikers, like Danny Ings, Robbie Fowler, TC. Instinct always scores goals. Okay, I don't.
One
and
thing
then
you
again,
can't teach.
And like Costa, I don't want all these players. I don't want them to do anything above what I know they can do. I want him to stay in the box, score the goal. I want Costa to stay in there as well, because I'm so frustrated, Gatesy. When we cross the ball, there's no one there, mate. There's no one there, and I do not want that happening next season. I want people in the box, available, do their job. I don't want him marking anyone in the corner. I don't want him tackling anyone in the halfway line. I want him in the box and do your job, what I bought him for, mate. So, and I don't want him to go to any other club. I know Newcastle are sniffing and people like that. And 24, what a brilliant day. Daka 22, him 24, Pereira 25, Gilmore 19, and that offsets the little bit of the oldies I'm bringing in. So for me, because he's different, isn't he, to what we've got, and I think that'll come in handy.
Yeah. So just looking at this, he's 24 years of age, as you say. Just look here, and this is something that wasn't lost on me. He's a World Cup winner. All right, it was under 20s, but he's a World Cup winner, and also a European under 17 champion as well. So again, he's been involved in tournaments where they've got over the line. Yes, I know it's youth tournaments, but contract at Blackburn goes until the 30th of June 2022. And just looking here in the Championship, 40 appearances, 28 goals, 5 assists, 3 yellow cards. He was in the starting 11 87% of the time, with 84% of the minutes he was there. His main position is centre forward. He can also be deployed on either wing. He has 5 caps for England under 21s with 1 goal. And going back into his history, he went to Blackburn from Newcastle United. He's also had spells on loan at Bolton, Barnsley, Coventry. So again, a guy with a lot of potential to grow and come in, do a job for us, hopefully. And yes,
he's never been to London.
He's a goal poacher.
He's never been to London, has he, the lad?
Yeah, that's the only thing, sort of like how with sort of like some of the other players like Ryan Bertrand or Diego Costa, or David Luiz, they're used to London life. If you've never been to London before and you've never been to a big city, and I would suggest Blackburn is not a big city, Newcastle is obviously.
Listen, you're going to a nightclub with David Luiz and Costa, and you're Adam Armstrong. I wouldn't want better company. Put McAvenny in there with you as well. He'll love it.
Why not?
Yeah, he'll love it with the 2 big boys like that. No one mess around, and McAvenny shows anyone a good time, and I think hopefully, he'll settle down, mate. Yeah, we'll get him gravy with chips. He wants gravy on chips. We'll sort it out. We'll
get him some. We'll get him some black pudding. He'll soon be feel at home. Get him a flat cap. Any other stereotypes?
Gacy, did you know that black pudding was one of the famous things from poor old Bury United? I didn't know that. They're the most famous for black pudding, Bury United.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the program when they all went pear-shaped, and the fans put on a whole program about who they were, and he goes, we're the most famous for black pudding in the whole country. It's where it originates from. It's the best one. I've never had black pudding. It's always put me off.
Have you not?
I eat anything and everything, but what I heard about it, for me, listen, Full English is one of my favorites.
Yep.
I don't know. I just kept away from it. I don't know.
Right. I'll tell you what. When we meet up, we're going to a cafe, and I'm getting you a Full English with black pudding.
It's the blood thing. I don't know. Like, how can I eat? I don't know. Am I wrong?
Come on.
My perception.
What's the worst that could happen? I've eaten it. Left, right, and centre all me days.
What does it taste? What does it taste like?
Lovely. Honestly, I can't really describe it to you. You'd have to taste it. It's one of those things you've got to experience it and make your own decision.
I'll do it now.
Honestly, I'll tell you what. When we meet up, I'm taking you to a greasy spoon, and you're going to have a black pudding with me. Even if it's just a bite, and you go, Not my cup of
brilliant.
tea, but
Milesy,
just try it once in your life. Listen, I took the plunge on rum. Yeah,
I got. Let me put some more in. Yeah, you convinced me in 1 minute. You convinced me in 1 minute. But I won't eat it till I see you.
Do you like bacon? Do you like bacon?
It's one of the most popular things in the bloody family. Yesterday,
well, there you go. He says it tastes bacon.
Pack of 24. So... It has to be unsmoked back bacon. That's the one I always had. I don't like smoky bacon.
I'm with you there.
And then when you go to America and Europe, they have those little small bits, don't they? I don't like that. We're so. My cousin's gone to Canada. 3 things: baked beans, proper bacon, and what's the other thing they can't get out? There's another thing: sausages. They can't get proper wool sausages.
Really?
No, America, they do those tiddly little Frankfurter types. They can't get Heinz baked beans.
Oh,
one of my friends have said, like, they mentioned another brand, Cross and Blackwell. I said, I don't know. For me, it's always Heinz, mate. Always Heinz beans for me. Wool sausages. We used to get skinless little ones as kids. They're not around that much.
I got to be honest with you. We've got a very good butcher's near where I live.
Oh, lucky then. Yeah.
I wouldn't, a proper old school butcher's, and there's no comparison in my book between a sort of like a supermarket, like a Richmond's sausage, and a proper butcher's.
Butcher's is brilliant.
You're comparing. It's like comparing Dom Perignon champagne to a can of Tizer. There is no comparison.
Do you like in your sausage? Would you know like the one you like? Would it be all pork or beef? Would it be 50-50? Do you know that much? Or
do you know I've tried all sorts? Do you know I've even tried kangaroo sausages?
But the thing is, you're right. You know the posher ones because they've got no fat in them. Those are like rubber. They're dreadful. I would not go.
Well, no, kangaroo sausages ain't bad, and they got bugger all fat in them. Bugger all fat. I mean, kangaroo meat's one of the best meats you can get from a nutritional standpoint.
No, there's a high level brand, and it's rubber because you need some naughty meats in there to make it work. You need a little bit of. You need a bit of fat.
But I'm a bit old school. I'm old school pork sausage.
Yeah, that's the one that should be. Yeah,
Cumberland,
I look into it.
Lincolnshire.
Yeah. All that. But some of them, some of the posh ones, are a bit too many. For me, I'm simple. Like sausages, I love. I don't mind what it is. Bacon, has to be.
We're on sausage watch, ladies and gentlemen. If you were thinking this is You Are the Manager, it's sausage watch.
Eggs. I'm happy anyway, mate. Fried. I like a bit of a runny in there, a bit of runny egg. I like.
Oh yeah,
scrambled eggs. But Indians, what we do, scrambled eggs, like omelette, we make it spicy with onions in it. Like all the chili goes in there, so we do a bit different sometimes. Like the missus.
Coming round to yours.
We've actually, it's the only thing I do well cooking. The wife says I do like a little spicy baked beans. You heat the beans up for ages. You add onions. It's like a curry, yeah. So you add all the chilies. Comes out. Add a generous knob of butter into it.
If you come to the cricket that we spoke about earlier, make sure you bring some samosas.
I'll do everything, mate. Yeah, I'll bring everything, mate.
Because my missus has just said about it. So you make sure he brings the samosas.
Yeah. I'll just have to. Yeah, my challenge is I have to. Yeah. Get the missus on board, and then what we should do. We went to cricket once. She made a really nice like chicken tikka, like boneless chicken that you can eat hot or cold, like in a tub. Because cricket is all about. Cricket's so friendly. Is fans mix, and I've had people next to me, and even I bought food. And like, what you got? Yeah, you can have some, Jazz. And there's one funny story before I go. Like, it goes back 15, 20 years. There's a World Cup game. Went to Birmingham, and Jazz being Jazz. I went to the game.
1999 World Cup when Australia won it.
96 in the UK. The World Cup was in 96, I think, if I'm somewhere around that time. And
I thought it was 99 because Australia won it, didn't they?
Was it 99? Somewhere. I went to Grace Road in Leicestershire, and I think it was an India friendly game. And what happened was I went there with someone else, but I ended up with someone else because the Burn Midland lot are so friendly. Oh, it's a long story, mate. I think, he's like, Jazz, where are you?
Tom's just said, it was 99.
99, yeah. It rained. I think that game got rained off, yeah. I think Sachin Tendulkar.
Yes, I remember that. Australia with the Donald run out. I remember that. That was it.
South Africa were always so unlucky during that time with so many great
Always
players.
the bridesmaids, never the bride.
just
one of
kept
those
missing
teams.
out.
Just couldn't get over the line when it
Yeah,
really
one or two.
mattered.
Yeah,
But
one or two
we
teams
got
we
one
know.
more signing, Jazz. We're going
One
off
more.
on sausage watch
Yeah,
and then cricket
yeah.
talk.
So
The people at home are going, you got more signings.
one more. Sullivan's saying, "Thank God, Jazz, you've driven me nuts trying
Well,
to get these
you've
deals."
got, just in case the people at home have lost track, which is entirely possible, you've got £400,000 left.
I'm not going to spend it because I think that's coming to me tomorrow under the agreement.
That's going on the rum.
So Gatesy's going to. Obviously, I think Monday I'll get the money. Won't I, by Monday? If you transfer it tomorrow, being a non-working day,
Use
this
£20 notes in a brown envelope.
This is what all. Yeah, I think Duke needs 10 grand. He said, "Jazz, I need a new sofa." I said, "That's fine. I'll send it to you Monday." But then, yeah. So we got Daka, we got Armstrong. So we got an explosive. We got explosive player. We got a goal hanger, and we got the big boy. And this one, I brought him in. Yes, he's played for the club. He's kept his his head.
Return of the prodigal son.
What it is, I think some of the flack's been perhaps a little bit not warranted for this chap. I think.
Yeah.
His brother plays.
I know exactly who everybody at home is thinking at this point.
He's played for the club. He's amazingly available on a 3. He couldn't quite bring his beloved club up, and he just kept his head down. And I don't think for a player of that stature to just put his head down and play week in, week out, give it the best shot, going back 2-3 years and not say anything, just not complain, be their best player, and even the only shot they had in the final, in the playoffs, it's got to be Andre Ayew. I would bring him back on a free. 32 in December. He's only 31.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
I
think the prodigal son.
I think he's full of energy. He's a nice kid, and if you remember, Gatesy, I was on a holiday and against Chelsea, I think he got injured badly and he was out for a while. I think that was a game where Kante tried. He done a naughty tackle on Carroll.
Was that the game at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, Costa. That is a game where it should have been a draw. First game of the season on a Monday, I think. If I tell you where I was,
that was it. Colin scored.
I was in Seychelles, mate, on that day, sitting in the evening with my plugs on, which is falling asleep, and I couldn't believe it. Apparently Kante should have been sent off for what he done to. It was either Andre Ayew or Carroll. He took one of them out. And they were gone, finished from that game. And it was all going towards 1-1 until Costa scored in the last minute, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't Ginge get the equaliser for us at to make it 1-1?
And I thought it was going to stay 1-1, and I was going to be so happy with that result. But deep down, being a West Ham fan for how long we are, we always knew, by hook or crook, these Super League teams, it's just the way it is. They're going to get back into it, mate. You know? So... And again, I think he just makes financial sense. I don't see anything he done wrong. He's never said nothing bad about the club. He puts his head down. Obviously, Jordan Ayew's brother, and I think he's a smart, energetic guy to be very lively again. A very good sub, I think. And I think these players, how many have we got? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I didn't realise. 12 players, Gatesy. I brought in 12 players.
Yeah.
A whole team, mate, and a bit more. And I think we needed it. We needed
bit of
it.
Harry Redknapp's about you.
Well, don't forget, we're going to get rid of, obviously, Balbuena and 1 or 2 others. You know? So...
Yeah. I knew someone was going to say they thought you were bringing in Arnie, former player, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I know exactly who they're thinking at home.
So
I knew, and then when you turned around and said you didn't get them up, I thought that's where they might have sort of realised, it's not Arnie.
Oh, he had 400 grand, and that's going for me and Gatesy, and I'm going to give you a bit as well Monday as well.
Well, like I say, we're going to go to the cricket with that one, aren't we?
Well, some of the players
400 grand, that'll buy us a couple of rums.
So some players quickly, Gatesy, that I didn't bring in. Mitrovic at 18 million, Arnie at 10 million, Kral at 10 million. Abraham at 40 million. I cannot afford Abraham blowing my budget like that. Sturridge at 2 million.
How much was he?
40 million. Abraham. I cannot spend 40 on him. Sturridge at 2 million. Yeah. Lingard, 19.8 million. Chris Wood, I thought long and hard about. 7.2 million. He's only 29. Egan at 9 million. I looked at Kral 9 million. And Danny Rose, I looked at. Not a lot of people don't know he's up for freebie, my man.
Yep.
He could easily be in there instead of one of the other left. So 2 left backs, Bertrand and Van Gaal. Rose could easily. The only thing that I didn't put me off him. Do you remember when he went on loan at Newcastle and didn't make it permanent? It made me think that some things. And Steve Bruce is pretty smart. So there's something. I think psychologically, like I said, Spurs destroy a lot of players, my friend. They destroy a lot of players, and maybe he's just gone. It's such a young age.
Do you know what? It would not surprise me if we don't see Danny Rose play another game of professional football. I wouldn't be shocked if he retires.
Well, it's a bit like Klein, another one up for free. Klein, no one wants him, and he's went to Palace, and I remember his white Bentley sports car under the Billet season, and so those are the players that are in my mind, and I just try to get the most for my money, and I really wanted to get a mix of explosiveness, pace, and excitement, and experience, and people you look up to, and I think we need. I know it's crazy bringing 12 players in, but with the season ahead, I do not want us to finish 13th, 12th, 10th. Oh, we need to go look up and up, mate.
Yeah. So just looking here, Jas, for the people at home. So he was born in France, but he's a Ghanaian citizen. We obviously know him from his time at West Ham. His contract at Swansea runs out on the 30th of June this year. Transfer market rate him at 3.6 million, but as I say, he's going to be a freebie. 43 appearances in the Championship last season, 16 goals, 4 assists. He's in the starting 11 89% of the time, playing 88% of the minutes. His main possession is centre forward. Again, he can be deployed on either wing. 31 years of age, and he for his nation Ghana with 19 goals. He also has 1 cap for France at under 18s level. And just looking there, he's played obviously for Swansea, Fenerbahce in Turkey, obviously ourselves, Marseille, and etc. 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 So yeah, I can't really say too much more about him. We know him from obviously his time. Because correct me if I'm wrong, he was for a period of time he was our record signing, wasn't he?
He was a lot of money,
20 odd million there or thereabouts, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely right. That's another reason I didn't consider Seema because of like Pereira. So I didn't want to duplicate too many people. I had to go for one of them. It was either going to be Seema, then I found out from some people that he's not really. He's more of a winger than a striker. And I thought, we've got Bowen, we've got Ben Rama, we've got Pereira. Well, hopefully we've got Antonio, we've got Fornells, and I thought I don't need another one in that. I want real strikers, and that's the reason I kind of pushed him to the side of
proper number 9s.
Yeah. Bit of confidence about them, and
Cool. Okay, so for the ladies and gentlemen at home, just to recap, we have got Nick Pope, the goalkeeper from Burnley, for 13.5 million. Jerome Boateng from Bayern Munich on a free centre-back. David Luiz, a centre-back come central midfielder from Arsenal on a free. Sander Berge from Sheffield United for 16 points. He can play as a defensive midfielder or a centre-back. Van Aanholt as well. Van Aanholt from Crystal Palace on a free. Left back. Ryan Bertrand from Southampton, left back, again on a free. Billy Gilmore from Chelsea for 9 million, midfielder. Mateus Pereira, not Jesse Lingard. First person to do this, very brave boys, Jas. He thinks his way, and that's fine.
I love it.
Again, right winger, attacking midfielder.
It's my Sikh heritage, isn't it, Gatesy? It's my Sikh heritage being brave, mate.
There you go. Absolutely. Patson Daka, the striker from RB Leipzig for 19.8 million, 22 years of age. Adam Armstrong, another striker from Blackburn for 14.4 million. And we then have Diego Costa, who is unattached at this moment in time, striker from days of old Chelsea, if we remember. on a free, 32 years of age now. And Andre Ayew, former West Ham record signing for free from Swansea, a striker at 30. Ladies and gentlemen, is Jas Moyes' business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players through the revolving door.
Gatesy, how many of these players have been in the people that have been before me? Because I don't know. Interestingly, like if you don't mind sharing,
It's probably about half a dozen people that have done it up to this point. I think there or thereabouts.
No. I mean,
more people.
No, I mean in terms of the players I've chosen, how many of them picked these ones?
Hope, Boateng, Louise. I think Burge might have been mentioned by someone. Van Arnholt, Bertrand, Gilmore. I don't think I've seen at all. Pereira's been mentioned. Daka's been mentioned. Armstrong's been mentioned. Costa and Ayew, no. So yours is, some of the players
and
have been mentioned, but not all.
Pereira's the one, isn't it? Pereira's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that one. What about Pope?
Yeah,
what about Pope?
Pope, no one's mentioned Pope. People have mentioned
get in there. Johnson, boring Johnson.
And who was the other one? The French guy, Fulham, Areola.
Yeah,
Areola.
Listen, people, be original. Don't do your research and just don't. Yeah, just do something different, mate. Yeah.
Well, I haven't done mine yet. My one hasn't been done.
Will Milesy Dukes? Will they? Hopefully,
Milesy, I've got on. I've spoken to him earlier. Milesy's gonna be at some point, and Duke when he's not up to his neck in work, and we can sort of mesh a time together. Yeah, it's just gone mental. But Jas, thank you very much indeed for your participation in this. And those of you watching, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, so as and when Duke and I upload any new content, you'll be notified straight away with a little notification on your device. And before we finish, and this is really important, ladies and gentlemen, please don't turn off, because this little girl needs us. She needs you specifically, because that information on that banner there that I've just put up is on the description below the video on both YouTube and Facebook. If you can't put any money in the pot, and I appreciate times are tough, do me a favor, copy and paste it and put it onto your social media platform with a little note of what it's about. And if you don't know what it's about a little girl that is very, very sick and ill and needs some life-saving treatment. She's suffering with neuroblastoma. Her name is Isla Caton. And, she's got a cancer called neuroblastoma, and there's no treatment for it in this country. So in this pandemic that we're all had the crap kicked out of us in the last 12 or so months, but this family have had to go through that and this as well. So they've got to try and get the treatment wherever it is in the world. It's all experimental treatment. They've got to pay for the treatment, the flights, the accommodation once they're there, their living costs. The bills are still piling up in the UK. So guys, you've got a Just Giving page there. Do us a favor, if you've got any spare money, chuck it in there, even if it's £1, doesn't matter. £1, £10, £100, whatever you can put into the pot. Thanks very much. But if you genuinely can't, because it's been an absolute crap year and you've lost your job or this, that, and the other, please, there's no reason why you can't copy that and paste it to your social media, whether it's your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, with a little note as to what it's about, because it might be that one of your friends looks at that, it strikes a chord with them, and they can put some money in on your behalf. So guys, if you can do that at the very least, I really, really would appreciate it. And so would this family, because they need us, and there's no doubt about that. The clock is ticking. So don't do it. Don't wait till tomorrow to do it. Don't wait till next week. Please do it now. Thanks for listening. So, Jas, that is us done. Fresh is just saying that Jas has a team of accountants sorting out those fees. They've earned their corn.
No, another interesting point is that apparently we are actively on the hunt for a director of football, and it's a clash between.
I think you should get it.
I think it's have to. I mean, Burnley
I don't know if you
guy.
can afford the pay cut. That's the only thing.
The only thing is, with 2 windows, what the hell am I going to do from September to December? Like after that's the only thing with me. I'll get bored, wouldn't I? Like, oh my god,
you'd find something to do. You'd find something to do.
I come on the channel, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Give
Why
you the
not?
gossip.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm going to hit the end credits now. Jas and I are going to carry on having a little chat in the green room. I might even pour myself another rum. Look at that, it's gone dry.
Oh, I wish I could share that. I think she's ordered that chicken tikka. Well, it's like a peri chicken, but my family are really Mrs. Her nickname is Fussy Fusspots, and I ordered her something yesterday. The sun goes right, and I'm
Have you told her this?
Listen, I told you we've been together since college days. Listen, whatever, yeah. That's the thing, yeah. Just whatever goes. What it is, you can be yourself in an old relationship. You don't need to pretend or anything. She knows me. No. Go, yeah, Jas.
Yeah.
Used to drink a bottle of rum.
You walk into the front room and fart.
When we were 16 together, like bottle of rum with her, like yeah. Not some people are, I don't drink, love. Like she knows everything about me. Hello, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, same with my missus. Anyway, I'm going to hit end credits and then I shall end the broadcast there. But me and Jas are going to carry on for probably another hour or so chatting crap as we generally do. Guys,
what's the comments like, Gatesy? Because I don't listen to the comments when I'm going on it. Like, has it been
pretty favourable? Yeah? I mean, some players that you've brought in have been a little bit polarising. I think it's fair to say. Some people have been, not necessarily behind every single one.
Well, Sullivan's
it's all about opinions.
Especially Sullivan's really happy. Look, he's here.
Brought him along.
He's like,
brought him along. If so long as he's got 400 grand to spend now on his missus, ain't bad, is it?
And Ruby is not in the garage like last night. I've got rid of her.
No, he's kept Ruby out of the way, guys. So
Ruby was really
all of you watching. Thanks very much, all you guys in the live chat. We absolutely love your involvement. Please keep it going. And as I say, for our Hammer Time series, guys, you've got the ticker at the bottom.
Come on,
so you can get in touch with us if you want to. If there's a season that's coming up that you want to get your teeth into, and guys, I appreciate there's some of you out there that might be a little bit conscious about coming on a live stream and all the rest of it.
Look at me.
Turn your camera off if that makes you happier. One of our guests yesterday was Steve, who's in the live chat at the minute. He turns his camera off because he prefers to remain a little bit of a man of mystery, which is absolutely fine. There's lots of people that come on. Cahill comes on, turns his camera off. West Ham Online turns his camera off. So if there's anybody that wants to come on, but they're feeling a little bit, I'm not too sure, turn your camera off. It's not a problem to us. It's absolutely fine. Whatever makes you comfortable. But yeah, if there's any seasons that are coming up and you want to get your teeth into, basically you've got to select 3 games that you believe were key to our season. Even if they're a defeat, but whatever the match is, just pick 3 matches that you think were key during that particular season that you want to talk about. And you need to pick your personal Hammer of the Year, who may not necessarily be the person that walked off with the official award. And if you want to do that, ladies and gentlemen, let us know.
And Gatesy, another thing, this is the only channel that openly invites viewers to come on. No other channel does this, and everything we do is unique and different. Who does transfers? Who does Hammer Time? No one does these things. This is a fresh channel. We don't copy from any other channel, and that's what I love about it. These are no, not really. I don't think so. It's all about.
Listen, everybody sort of like has similar things, so I can't turn around and say that.
I can though, because I'm kind of on the outside, so I can say Gatesy, you don't. So for me, because I know all the channels, and a lot of them is just copying the news from like what's in the papers. Let's just do another and I'm like, I know what's happened. It does not interest to me. Interest to me is looking at the future and looking at history, which I think this channel does brilliantly. I think just for me,
a little bit of nostalgia.
I think it's fresh content. It's original. It's interesting.
I appreciate that.
And interaction with all the viewers, and it's working. I mean, Gatesy, from you like actively inviting them on, it's working. Steve came on. Hopefully, got a new guy next week on the channel, and I think it's brilliant. I say, we want all you guys in the live chat, anybody that's watching this at a subsequent point after we've hit end broadcast. If you're watching this and if you're thinking, actually, I'd like a piece of that, and like I say, if you're a bit nervous, like I say, just turn your camera off. It's fine. It's not an issue to us. But, you guys are the reason why we do this, okay? So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Periscope, Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, and you're thinking,
I would like to get involved because I've got a story to tell, but I'm a little bit nervous, whatever. Like I say, just turn your camera off. But there's absolutely no reason to be nervous. We're one family here. You know, we're all West Ham fans. We all want the same thing. We might have different ideas on how it should be implemented, but fundamentally, we all want West Ham to be the number one team in the world. One day it might happen.
Yeah. We're definitely the number one fans for me anyway. Yeah,
absolutely. And on that, I'm going to hit end broadcast after I've done the titles. Jas and I are going to talk crap for about the next hour or so with a bottle of rum that we're going to demolish between us. So, guys, all of you out there, stay safe. Join us again for the next episode, which tomorrow I think is 3:30 from what I remember. If any of you in the live chat or have seen a guy popping up called the Cyber Leader, he used to be known as the Dalek. His name's actually Mo. He's coming on tomorrow to give his version of what Jas has just done. You Are the Manager. And again, if any of you want to do You Are the Manager, not just Hammer Time, if any of you want to do You Are the Manager, if you're looking at this and thinking, oh, I'd like to get my teeth into that, I'd like to do that. Again, DM us at the bottom. That's all our contact details. Get in touch with us, guys. Get involved and tell your friends about us. Share this video on your YouTube, your Twitter, whatever. Get the message out there that we're here, because we're here for you. It's as simple as that. And I'm a fan. Jas is a fan. You're fans. Let's sort of like really try and sort of push the message. And like I say, also by doing that, we're trying to get the message out there about Isla to try and really sort of, make a dent in getting her the treatment that she needs. And that's, that's all I need to say. So
definitely.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for everybody for listening. Only one thing left to say, isn't it, Jas?
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. Stay safe, guys. Have yourselves a good weekend.